Hi, how you doing? So I picked up this book precisely, and I was like, okay, why are we getting Shakespeare quotes? Well, turns out this duology right here, it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling. So, um, yeah, I'm gonna put these books down because this is just annoying for me to hold, and I'll put little pictures up on the screen here. So, boom, there we go. Okay, so while I put those books down, I feel like first these are a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but it is set in 90s, 20s Shanghai. So, being Romeo and Juliet, I feel like even though we may not have read the play or seen any movie adaptations or anything like that, I feel like we should know the basic premise. Rival families, they love each other against all odds, and one dies, one, yeah, it's that the faking death and then dying, and then yeah, basically that. So as I said, set in Shanghai, 1920s Shanghai. So we have mob boss family kind of a deal. Now, they used to know each other like earlier from where we start. They had a little relationship of sorts. They loved each other. Maybe they still do. Ooh, who knows? Well, we will know if we read the books. It's the whole thing. So they're very like, yeah, they're very like mob boss kind of a deal, and they have to come together because there's a threat that could take out both families. So they decide that if they team up, maybe the odds of both families, well, each one in case, because they're just really working for themselves, they will not be taken out, and maybe they can take out the threat together. So basically they go little investigative kind of a deal. Now, I felt like I couldn't just talk about book one without talking about book two, because you can't read book one without finishing book two. It's just a very long, it's like the Lord of the Rings. It's one book in 3 parts, split into 3 books to confuse you. That's basically what I got from this duology. You need both of them, basically. Now, I feel like this video should be more like an in-depth character research thingamajig, but I don't feel like doing that, so I'm just gonna try my best to sum up what it is. So that's basically what I just started doing. Anyway, there's so many things that could be said for the characters, the setting, the way things are handled, the plot, everything. First off, I don't think it should be a duology. I think there are so many things happening that you could just erase. There's so many little plots here and there that you could just essentially take out and you would still have the full story. Now, is it a good story? Yes and no. I did enjoy it being in 90s, 20s Shanghai. It's not something I've seen in a Romeo and Juliet adaptation or retelling. So for me, that was new. If there's any other out there, I'm sure there are, because this is a story that I feel is retold like a lot. If it's not essentially like just little name changes, like her name is Juliet, his name is Roma. Yeah, that's such a big change there, obviously. So like I said, I feel like maybe I should have gone like deep dive dissecting these characters because they're not that great. I mean, they could be, but they're kind of not. At least not for me. There's so many things I would like to say, but without the bigger context behind them, I don't feel like right doing it. Essentially, I enjoyed parts of this duology, but mostly I didn't enjoy it that much. I feel like the premise of it is a good one, but I would have liked to have seen it differently. But I'm not the writer of this duology, Chloe Gong is, and she apparently had a vision for it and went with it, and applause, because it's not something I could have written. First off, I'm not familiar about Shanghai and any of the kingdoms. Oh, what's the word I was looking for? That whole kingdom thing. Or any of, I'm losing words. I'm not familiar enough with that culture of Shanghai and nearby countries to be able to write something like this. I'd have to do so much research, and I'm not here for that right now, so I'm not gonna. Also, I don't feel I could do that culture justice, so probably not something I should attempt. Anyway, I respect the choices that were made for this duology. I feel like it should have been a standalone, but also I don't know, Romeo and Juliet, I'm not the biggest fan of Romeo and Juliet anyway. I'm just more familiar with it than I am a fan of it. So, yeah, there's that. So, have you read this duology? What did you think? Do you want to read it? Because I don't feel like my little weirdly summarization of this duology right here is doing it's not giving justice to the duology, and it's not I guess what I'm trying to say is my little summarization here is not being fair to the duology. Maybe in the future, if I would want to do a more deep dive into the original Romeo and Juliet and this series, and maybe other series as well, that would be a different thing. But yeah, for what this is, I enjoyed most of it, but also there was so many pieces I didn't enjoy. So there's that. We can't be helped. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I shall see you all next time. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.